Hey, everybody, welcome back. It is the Razzball Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Beaton, joined by the one, the only, the Fantasy Master Lothario, the Spectacled Wonder. Great, right? How's it going over there, Greg?
Hey, what's going on there, Beaton? How's it going with you? With the Winter Olympics upon us, I have become incredibly into curling for for the next 3 days until 4 years from now.
Yeah, the national hobby that takes over every 4 years for about a week and a half, give or take.
So I'm assuming that there's like regulations when it comes to the broom, right? Because like I was thinking, like, why not just have a Zamboni go in front of them?
I think that may be a little too large and for what they're trying to do, Gray. But I'm with you. There's a really funny Family Guy clip where they have the maid out there with her broom, and she's scrubbing for the Mexican national team, and that's always a great clip of mine when I think of curling. Is it just that we all think we could do curling? Like, is that really why we all love it so much? It's like badminton. You're like, they hit it as hard as they want, and it still floats down like a little feather. Like, why are we?
I think it's if I could take a guess here, I think we all imagine ourselves being capable of doing curling because the guys who are doing it are drinking beers and smoking cigarettes while they do it.
While they're scrubbing on the ice.
It's kind of like, like how everyone's like, oh, I could be a DH for a major league team. It's like, yeah, you think that because, the guy looks like someone who's on your softball team who isn't very good even.
Why couldn't we all be Kyle Schwarber, Gray? Why couldn't we all be Kyle Schwarber?
I would have taken Daniel Vogelback, to be honest. I would have been fine. I would have been fine with that. I would have been like, you know what? Actually, I'll take David Eckstein. I would have been a great David Eckstein. Oh well. Dream for another day.
I mean, I think, maybe we could be as good as, like, I don't know, Andrew Vaughn is like a full-time DH, which is only paid to hit, and he's still terrible, Greg. I feel like if it was my only job, I could still be as bad as Andrew Vaughn and not hit anything as well. Like, I can not put the ball in play.
I imagine Andrew Vaughn and his Buick Sebring, who just turned on his favorite Razzball podcast, and he's like listening. He's like, "Yeah, let's find out about some third baseman." And then it's like, "Ow, what was that stray all about?
What's going on? Beaton always liked me."
Beaton was one of my biggest fans when I was on the White Sox. Jeez.
Finally leave that terrible team, go to a friendly park, and he hates me more. We're just let's move. Right? We're
in Andrew Vaughn's passenger seat. Matt McLean just shrugs. He still likes me.
I got at least another year and a half before he hates me completely. As long as I do power speed and just, Root Netto door my way through this thing, he's not going to give up. He's going to see it. It's a tough life here, Gray, as a fantasy baseball analyst and what we have to do. But yeah, let's get into third base, Gray. It's going to be, at least an hour 45, even though we've covered half of these guys. So let's talk about it. Number 1 through 3, we have already covered Jose Ramirez, Junior Caminero, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. They're all in the top 20 podcast. You can go listen to that. So starting with the first tier here this week, we have number 4, Manny Machado. Last year, he had 27 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 91 runs, 95 RBIs. He hit 275, 335, 460. You have him projected for 28 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 86, 94, and hitting 272. I mean, almost identical numbers across the board as what he did the previous year, Gray. It's Manny Machado.
Yeah, it is. It is Manny Machado. Outside of I guess outside of the top guys, I mean, the top guys, I feel like for any position, the top guys are like, except for, I guess, starters, which we'll talk about when we get to pitching. But outside, like the top guys in any position, any hitting position, at least, it's like depends on where you're drafting, right? Like if I have, we went over the top 20, but if I have the fourth pick and I'm looking at my rankings, I'm like, okay, Jose Ramirez is the guy I'm taking. So if I have the fourth pick, I'm taking Jose Ramirez. If I, get to the second round and Junior Camanero's there or Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s there, then I'm taking those guys, without a doubt. I have no problem with them. I like them. And then it becomes interesting because then at a certain point, and I feel like it's outside the top 20, really, at a certain point, you've now drafted two guys, presumably, I mean, it depends, I guess, where you're drafting. If you're drafting first in a 12-teamer, your second pick is until like right outside the top 20. But anyway, I think so. What I'm getting at is like the top guys in the top 20 or so. It's you're drafting them based on where your draft pick is. And then Manny Machado, who, I think usually goes like around 35, maybe, he's somewhere in that range, I think. Let's see. Right now, currently, he is at 36. So, yeah. So anyway, so you get to Manny Machado, and then it's like he becomes then, and all of the third basemen for at least for a little while, it becomes a situation where it's like, do I want to take a third baseman or this other position? And it's like, then you start, debating yourself on which way you're going. And it's like, well, I kind of could use an outfielder, or I really like, the shortstops are really good. And, this is a long way of me of saying, like, I like Manny Machado, but for some reason, and I think this is the reason, I never draft Manny Machado, even though I like him every year. I rarely ever get him in a league because I always feel like, as much as I do like Manny Machado, he's not a top 20 third baseman. And so once you get out of that range for the third baseman, it becomes like, yeah, I mean, I can wait on third baseman, like I said a bunch in the shortstop podcast. Like, I like to draft aggressively in positions that are deep, and third base is not deep. So instead of like Machado, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I could take Machado, but, if I wait 15 rounds and I just take a flyer on, Muntaka Murakami or something, it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. It's just like, it just feels like something that is a recurring thing with Manny Machado and how I draft, that I like Manny Machado. I never end up drafting him. And it's like, and there's no knock on Manny Machado. I think, I've said this in the past. I might have actually even said it in the rankings this year. I think he's like a no-brainer Hall of Famer to me. I think he's one of the quietest, like, first ballot Hall of Famers I can remember in a while. Like, you look at his numbers and you're like, at third base, I mean, he's an easy first ballot guy for a third baseman. He's great. His numbers stack up against some of the best third basemen over, and he's not even, he's still got another probably four. He's actually I forgot the Padres. He's a Padre. He's a Padre, so that means he has a 12-year contract or some craziness. He's signed through. He's actually signed through 2033. Which is totally a real year number. Anyway, I think, I really like Machado. I'm not anti Machado like some people who are like, there's some people who are in the Machado camp of like, oh, he was he was terrible for his 3 months in the Dodgers, so I hate him because of that. Or he was, he slid into Dustin Pedroia and ended his career, so I hate him for that. I mean, I don't actually hate Manny Machado, but I just very rarely find myself in a position where I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll draft him. I just never end up getting like in that headspace really for him. Year after year, he's always great. Roughly 30 homers, roughly 12 steals, 270-ish average, great runs, great RBIs, pretty consistent across the board for going on like almost 11 years now. I mean, it's hard to find a real reason to dislike Machado other than the fact that like I'm, probably if I'm looking at Manny Machado at 35 overall, I'm probably going a different way. That's pretty much the only thing I could say, really. It's like, Manny Machado or James Wood. Well, I'm going James Wood. Manny Machado or Pete Alonso. I'm going Alonso. Manny Machado or Yordan Alvarez. I'm going Yordan Alvarez. So, yeah, I mean, I like Machado, but I probably am not going to be drafting him if we're being totally honest.
Yeah, I feel like for whatever reason, Gray, you do this like every year. You just kind of don't end up with Manny Machado, and I don't think it's that you don't have him ranked fairly. I think he probably. I haven't seen your overall rankings. I'm assuming he slots in somewhere inside the top 40, the top 50. That's pretty much where he goes at drafts. That's where he was on the player rater. There's nothing wrong with that. I think most of the time for our drafts, there's probably somebody who appreciates the consistency of Manny Machado more than you or I would, where we tend to be more upside play at that point still, or even potentially looking at different positions. So I understand why both of us maybe don't end up with Manny Machado in a lot of leagues. I really don't mind him at all. I have no problem taking him there. It just kind of depends on, who falls in a snake draft. That can be a very different set of people, depending on who you're drafting with. So it kind of comes down to the numbers because you know what you're going to get. You're going to get upper 20s, maybe low 30s home runs. You're going to get 270, 280, and you're going to get the counting stats come with it with some stolen bases because of the new stolen base rule. That did kind of save his fantasy value a little bit when they changed the stolen base rule. He got back over 10 plus, and all that adds up to a top 40 player pretty much year in, year out. Number 5 is Maikel Garcia. We talked about in the second baseman ranking. Next up is number 6, Austin Riley. Last year in 102 games, he had 16 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 54. He hit 260, 309, and 428. You have projected for 22 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 68, 71, and a 254 average and 505 at-bats. Great. I got to say, these may be the smallest tiers that I've ever seen you do at a position, at least till we get deeper in here. And I think you may have forgotten that tiers are a thing. But these are some very small tiers that we have to discuss today. Just wanted to see if there's a reason. Did you just think like the breakdown at the position is just that kind of ledged off where there really is just hard separators in value?
The small tiers are what the audience cries when the world's smallest violin plays. I think it's I think it's kind of the tiers have a lot to do with how shallow the position is, because you have the top 20 guys, the Jose Ramirez is through Jazz Chisholm, then you have Manny Machado, and it's like, and then you have and then you're just it's basically I like Maikel Garcia as well, but as far as ADP goes and the rankings, it's kind of a wasteland. It's really just a mess for a while, where I think other positions had a little bit more depth. So third base is just so lacking in depth that the tiers are small because there's just not that many players who are worthwhile, at least early on. Like when we get to guys later, the tiers get a little bit deeper later when it's just like basically throwing a dart at the board. As far as as far as Austin Riley goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to. I want to get in on them. I want to trust. Because it's like the price is actually decent if he can return like that value where he was, back in 2023, which, for some guys, like 3 years ago, would be a incredibly long time ago. I'm thinking of guys who are, now out of baseball, for instance, like Kevin Kiermaier 3 years ago. His stats look a lot different than what his projections are going to look like, because he no longer plays. But I think like Austin Riley, like 3 years ago, really shouldn't be that long ago for him, because he still is only 28 years old. He turns 29 real close to opening day, but under 30 years old. And I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect here from Austin Riley. So I have pretty strong breaks on. Like last year, like actually the last 2 years. So we'll look at them, and he had he had 19 homers in 2024, and then 16 homers last year. So those were in partial seasons. So he had injuries, right? So, you can discount these a little bit, but the real concern for me is like last year, for instance, his BABIP was 337. His Ks went up a little bit, but not up enough where a 337 BABIP produced a 260 average. And man, that is bad. Because in the past, he was probably a 330 BABIP, 280 hitter. So now he's a 330 BABIP, 260 hitter. So that means his hard hit has just gone into the toilet, which, and the numbers back that up. He lost almost 5% on his hard hit percentage, and his fly balls have stayed relatively the same. So where he used to hit the ball hard and it would go out, his homer per fly ball is obviously dropped as well. So he used to hit the ball hard, and he used to go out of the stadium, and now he hits like the ball medium hard, and he's not making it's just not becoming, it's not great contact. The launch angle is up, but not necessarily for the best, and now he's just hitting a bunch of fly ball outs. He looks like kind of like a guy where if you get back in on him, because his price is decent. His price is probably around 80. I want to say it's not bad. It's actually 75. So if his price is 75, which is decent if you get a bounce back, the problem is, there's nothing really, like he could be healthy again and bounce back, and you're going to get a great bargain at 75 overall. But the problem is there's nothing in his stats that say like, oh yeah, he should definitely bounce back. Like I don't see it, at least. There's nothing telling me that it's like he's gonna definitely bounce back and he's a good buy low. If anything, he looks like, a risky bet to bounce back. And the only way I could see him totally bouncing back really is like we get to June and he's having a great bounce back year. And he talks about how he finally feels healthy for the first time since 2023. And it's like, oh, okay. I could buy that. Like if he's healthy again and he bounces back. But who's to say that's going to happen? I don't know. Like there's nothing in his stats that say he should bounce back necessarily.
No, there's really not. It's really just kind of putting your faith that it was the injuries and that he's not just kind of falling off. And it's not like he's old. He's even entering this season, he's going to be 29, by the time the season starts, he's currently 28. So it's not like he's old to the point that it should have, he hit a cliff and the power left. When you look at the, exit velocity, the hard hit, when you look at the average bat speed, the fast swing rate, all of it is down a little bit from his peak, but it's not bad. Like it's not like he's just useless in regards to how hard he's swinging or how hard he's hitting the ball. It's just not where he was. And for some reason, like the ball is not leaving the park for him like it used to. Some of that may be launch angle, as you mentioned. It's up. He's hitting more fly balls. I just don't really understand because there's a lot more productive hitters that hit the ball less hard than he does. It's just not kind of making sense in regards to what we're getting. So I can see both sides where he's done. We're never going to see, the 3-year run of Austin Riley we saw. Or like you said, he could be finally healthy this season and he turns back into, 30-plus 275 hitter. And everybody's like, well, yeah, we knew this was going to happen as soon as the injuries healed. I don't know that, Gray. I think I'm just going to avoid Austin Riley this year. I was in on him last year. It was just a fluke season, injuries. Back-to-back seasons begins the trend. I'm just going to wait and see if he can do it. And then I'll buy back in next season if that happens. I'm okay just missing this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think also too, like the price is good if he bounces back to what he used to be when he was like a top 25 player, right? But even if he were to stay healthy, like if you were to take his last 2 years and prorate them out to 162 games, and even if he stays healthy this year and plays for, say 155 games, then you're looking at like a 26 homer, no speed, 260 hitter, which is fine, but it's like Alex Bregman is going almost, I think 30, 40, he's going like 40 picks after Austin Riley. Is Alex Bregman really that much worse than Austin Riley? Like, I mean, if you're just looking like you're not drafting in a total vacuum. Like it's like Austin Riley's price is good, but then you look at like Bregman and you're like, well, I mean, Austin Riley's price isn't that good, I guess. It's not that good.
It's good if you price in that he's going to bounce back to some extent. Again, if you prorate what he's done the last 2 seasons, it's not worth his draft cost. There is definitely an upside play here. I understand it. He still hits the ball hard, but it just doesn't seem like he's putting it together. I will say for the people on his side, he started the season very well last year, got injured, and then kind of fell off. 2024, there's really not anything that says he was ever really on track. He hit well in the middle of summer, but everybody hits better in the middle of summer. That's just kind of how it goes. So it's possible. I just don't think it's going to be me taking that investment. And as you mentioned, there's guys down the line that can give you similar to what his last 2 years would prorate out to. And I'll just take my chance on those guys. Up next is number 7, Eugenio Suárez, who returns with the Reds. I think we've briefly touched on him when we were discussing the Reds in every other podcast that we've done.
We are the biggest Reds fans.
Biggest Reds fans who don't care about the team in any way, shape, or form. We just want the players to perform, and really only the offensive ones, if we're being honest. We're not drafting the pitchers, so really just the offensive side here. But goes back to the Reds after obviously being there to begin his career. Last year he had 49 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 91, 118. He hit 228, 298, and 526. You have projected for 34 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 82, 98, and 233. Yeah, great. Anybody can steal bases. Eugenio Suárez had 4, so that's just proof of that. But that's not why you're drafting Suárez. He's just a premier power bat.
I know. Like they always talk about like how you have to take a grain of salt with certain stats. But I don't hear. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the conversations, but I don't hear the people who are talking about how like Ricky Henderson would have stole 200 bags in the current pitch clock environment. I mean, he really like it's insane that like Eugenio Suárez is now a 4-steal guy. Like he is slow as mud, man. He's like running in quicksand. It's like he is so slow.
He might actually be slower than Josh Naylor. He might be on that list.
Right. I know, right? Yeah, he's one of 3 guys.
Oh, he's not. He's not. He's way faster than Josh Naylor.
He's way faster. It's funny. Okay, so yeah, Eugenio Suárez signed with the Reds because of course he did. I mean, the Reds love themselves a corner man. They have so many. They are just like anything to so you have the Diamondbacks and anything to further push Jordan Lawler down their depth charts is the Reds and Christian Encarnacion Strand. The Reds will never play Christian Encarnacion Strand. I don't know why they don't just trade him for like a middle reliever at this point. I mean, why are you bothering? I don't know. I mean, we've seen Eugenio Suárez already at the Reds. He was a little bit younger when he played there. Roughly, what was it, 4 years ago? So yeah. So I mean, he was still in his 20s at the time. Now he's 34. Yeah. So he's 34. I kind of feel like Eugenio Suárez to me feels a little bit like one of those like Nelson Cruz, like guys who are just going to hit for power until they retire. Like it's just going to like there's going to be at a certain point Eugenio Suárez is going to hit 30 homers and probably like 205 average, and it's going to become like impossible to roster him for fantasy because he'll still have the power, but he's just not going to have the average anymore. But he feels like one of those kind of guys who can just hit for power as until he retires. We'll see. I would not be shocked to see another 40 homer season from him. I didn't project him for quite that much because it's like he is getting older, so accounting for some injuries and maybe a little bit of a decline. But as far as like, I don't see that much decline really. I mean, he's kind of like at this point, I want to say, because this is all the same tier: Austin Riley, Eugenio Suárez, and Alex Bregman, who we'll talk about next. But so that's one tier that I have here, and and there's 3 guys who, Austin Riley, Eugenio Suárez, and Alex Bregman. So how I see it is Austin Riley's first because he does have the most upside. If he can somehow regain that magic that we talked about from 2 years ago, never know what could happen, and he does stay relatively healthy. Eugenio Suárez stays healthy, is in a good park, but he's also he's aging. He's on the older side. And then Alex Bregman, who we'll talk about in a second, is just like incredibly consistent, just not that exciting. So they're all like, it just kind of depends really what you want. I feel like this range is possible I could see myself drafting one of these guys. Not Austin Riley probably because of the price, where it's just like he's like I mentioned before. I mean, he's 40 picks before Alex Bregman. So, I mean, I could see myself drafting Eugenio Suárez or Alex Bregman where they're going. And Eugenio Suárez is going at 115 overall. So again, like that's a good price for 35 homer, 225 hitter. I don't mind it. And then you have the upside of who knows? I mean, he's in Cincinnati. It's a great park. Maybe he gets back. He just hit 49 homers last year. Maybe he hits 49 homers again. Last time he was in Cincinnati, well, it wasn't the last time he was in Cincinnati, but when he was in Cincinnati, he hit 49 homers one year there as well. So, maybe the average comes up a little bit because Cincinnati is a good park. At 115 overall, I could see myself drafting him. And it's also kind of going back to what I was saying originally with the Manny Machado point. Like, you take the hit on average. So Manny Machado is going to hit for 50 points higher than Eugenio Suárez. He's got way more steals, a good 10 more steals than Eugenio Suárez. And he's got roughly the same amount of power. And the runs and RBIs will be, similar, but Machado is probably going to have him in both of those categories too. So Machado is definitely better, but I would take Eugenio Suárez as my third baseman. And for the price difference, I mean, you're talking about 80 spots different between Machado and Eugenio Suárez as far as price goes. It's just like, for the price, I mean, you're not drafting in a vacuum. Eugenio Suárez for 115 overall, and he gives you, good power and on steals and average and solid runs and RBIs. Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah. I mean, if you went power bat right off the bat, then maybe you don't need Suárez and you go with one of the other guys. But absolutely am with you on a Eugenio Suárez here. I don't also project him to hit 40 plus, but we've seen it done twice in his career. So to say he can't do it, that would seem ridiculous at this point. I will say he struggled in Seattle. The average bottomed out. He still has power. That's what he's going to do. You do have to take the risk on the power and know that you're going to have to cover the average and cover that somewhere else. But everything else is pretty solid with him. He was the number 3 third baseman last year on the player rater. Even if you drop down the home runs, I mean, he's easily going to be inside the top 10 at the position, really inside the top 7, even without blinking. Like, that's pretty much baseline for him, I feel like, unless it just happens to bottom out. He is older. That does happen. But as far as I can tell, there's no signs that it's happened. He still hit the ball just as hard as he's ever hit it. I don't really see that ever being a problem with him. It was actually his career best hard hit. And best home run the fly ball he's had since 2020. The 49 home run was in 2019 in Cincinnati, but he did it last year, which just goes to show that I believe last year they did just sneak in randomly 2019 and 2021 balls just for random games and let guys have fun. Got to hit those overs sometime, Gray. It's important. Maybe that's what it was. Too much money got put on the unders in games, and he's got to break out those 2019 balls and really, really drive it home. Number 8, we've talked about him like 5 times already, and that is Alex Bregman. He signed with my Cubbies. 114 games last year, 18 home runs, 1 stolen base, 64, 62, 273, 360, and 462. Yeah, I'm rejected for 26 home runs, 3 stolen bases, 87, 77, and 263. I mean, I don't mind the Bregman signing at all. He's always been a very professional hitter, even if it doesn't necessarily always translate to amazing fantasy goodness. But you're saying there's at least some fantasy goodness here, Gray.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny we mentioned Alex Bregman so much on this podcast because he really is one of the more boring players to discuss for fantasy. we're driving traffic over here to our podcast. I don't think there's really, he is one of you can really set your clock by Alex Bregman. I mean, he is one of the most consistently predictable players who is just kind of just fine for fantasy. I mean, he's a 25 homer, 265 hitter with, good runs and RBIs depending on the spot in the lineup. Looks like he could be hitting second. I'd probably, I wouldn't mind seeing him hit third. Kind of depends on where Mike Bush and Nico Horner are, but he's got no real speed, but yeah, he's totally predictable. I mean, it's good. I mean, even in last year, he was in 114 games. He hit 18 homers, and that prorates out to just as his normal predictable stat line. I mean, it's just like he is always a 25 homer, 260 hitter, which is, there's somewhat. I mean, there's value in that. It's just it depends on the price, and like we've been saying, like Alex Bregman's price is actually really good. I don't know really why. I don't know why he's going that late, to be totally honest. I mean, he is like usually. I feel like Alex Bregman goes usually around like 75 overall, and he is always exactly the same player. So I don't know why he's now going at 115 overall while giving exactly the same price. I mean, exactly the same line. I guess because he's coming off of a little bit of a weak season for him because of the injury. But I mean, like I said, I mean, he was injured, but he was basically doing exactly what he was going to always do, even with the injury. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like this year there's a little bit of a bargain on Alex Bregman, which I'm fine with. I would draft him. I don't see why anyone wouldn't at his price. His price is like, at 115, you're looking at like, I mean, some of the guys that are going around him, it's like, I mean, talk about like question marks, like there's just Trevor Story is going 10 picks before Alex Bregman. I know Trevor Story just had like, a 30 steal season, but he's also, I mean, projectable for like, anywhere from 110 games to 5 games. I mean, Trevor Story is completely unpredictable. Then you have guys like Yanni or Diaz is going within a couple picks of Alex Bregman. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's a catch. It's a 2-catcher ADP, so there is that. Also, who else? Trevor McGill's going around. Jeff, all those. They're closers. You need saves. Louis Robert Jr. is going within a couple of picks of him. So, yeah, I mean, Alex Bregman is going in a range where it's like there's pretty big question marks around some of the guys he's being drafted by, whereas, like, Alex Bregman doesn't have a question mark. I mean, he was injured last year. Things happen. I don't think just, like, his injury last year doesn't pretend to me that he's going to get injured again this year. I mean, it was a fluky thing. He just signed a 5-year deal. Why would he not go out and play 145 plus games this year? I mean, it seems like easy money with Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't mind the draft price this year at all. Sometimes in years past, it was kind of like, you're kind of paying up premium costs for a not premium fantasy asset. But this year, it feels like he's just kind of being pushed down artificially for, like you said, not really a reason. The only thing I can think of is, Boston was very friendly, right-handed park, obviously. Houston is to an extent in that you can just pull it down the line and you have boxes there. But that's pretty much the only thing that Houston's good for right-handed hitters. Everything else is pretty much in line with the Cubs, at least if you look at park factors. So I really don't think there's a whole lot of concern there. Maybe he's on the 23 range of home runs instead of 26, but that just feels like year to year kind of a change for him. That's just the range he sits in. So I don't mind it at all for the Cubs or for your fantasy team. I think it's a good pick. Next up is a new tier at number 9. Noelvi Marte, last year in 90 games, had 14 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 45, 51. He hit 263, 300, and 448. You have him projected for 25 home runs, 17 stolen bases, 71, 68, and a 251 average. 90 games is the most he's played at the Major League Baseball level, so that is a slight concern that he can't stay on the field. But there's at least some positive signs here on Noelvi Marte and gave you really good per game value when he was out there.
Yeah, no, so here in the big picture, we'll talk about the big picture for a second. So with third base, there's the top guys. Then there's like the Machado guys who, probably not drafting, who were fine, but, they are what they are. Then there's like, then there was the Bregman, Eugenio Suárez guys who are totally decent, but no real big upside, I wouldn't say. And then you have Noelvi Marte, who is the one exciting name for all of third baseman. You got one guy, man. That's the whole position. That's it, man. There's like no one else. It's like, okay, well, I can get excited about one guy in the whole position. Man, that sucks. I'll say though. So I've said this before, but I write my sleeper posts in November of the previous year. So in November, I was like, okay, there's no third baseman in the draft, so I have to try and find good sleepers. So I like went out of my way to find third baseman sleepers to write up. And then so I found like Marte was one. I wrote a sleeper post for him. And then it was Addison Barger and Matt Shaw, two guys who have been buried in the depth charts by other signings this year and no longer feel like sleepers to me because the Matt Shaw specifically because of the Bregman signing that really killed Matt Shaw. And then you have the Barger one who unfortunately they had what's his face? I have a fly going around my face. Whatchamacallit? Who did the Jays sign? They signed what's his face? Okamoto. Right. So they signed Kazumi Okamoto. So he buried Barger to a certain extent. I think Barger still has a little bit of bats. But anyway, long story short, I had three sleepers for third baseman, and now I have one, Noelvi Marte. That's it. It's if you want to take a flyer on good upside, I think Marte's the guy, man. And sadly, I think he might be the only guy because after Marte, there's Jordan Westberg who is in this tier, but we went over him the second baseman rankings because he is more of a second baseman. I mean, you're drafting him for second base. So he was interesting, but he's more second base. So then you have Marte, who is the really one interesting third baseman. And then after him, you have like guys like Matt Chapman, who are just like, oh God. It gets bad after this. So I'm just giving people a little taste of what's to come because you think there's more guys that are interesting at third base, but it really is just Noelvi Marte, and that's it. So anyway, Marte, you're right. He never played more than 90 games. In the major leagues, but in a major league season. But last year he did play 19 games in the minor leagues. Killed the ball down there. As he's been doing for years. He's been more than ready. So then last year he came up and, 14 homers, 10 steals, 263. Doesn't sound incredible, but he really, he cut down his strikeout rate by a ton. He went from 31% his rookie year to 23.6% last year. If that goes down to 21 or under, you're looking at basically a 275 hitter in that park in Cincy, where he's got big time power. I want to say 25 homer power easy. I project him for 25 homers. I mean, in essentially a half season last year, he hit 14 homers. He's still never played, as we've said now. He's still never played a full season. So give him a full season, 25 homers. He's got easy 20 steal speed, but, take a couple off. So 25 homers, 17 steals, 260 average, or I haven't projected for 251, but say he can hit 263 again. 25, 17, 263 in the middle of the Reds lineup, essentially probably the middle, but we'll see exactly where he's going to bat. I would assume it's going to be somewhere in the top, 5 spots of the lineup. Right now, Roster Resources projecting him to hit second, but it could be somewhere in there. So say top 5 of the lineup, 25, 17, 260. Top 5 of the lineup in Cincinnati, that gets him easily as a top 50 overall fantasy player. Easily in the top 50. 25, 17 every day. If he plays 145 plus games, you might be looking at even higher than the top 25. Like that's a good line. 25, 17, 260. So yeah, I'm all in on Marte, and he's literally the only guy I can say that about for third base.
It is just not great, Gray. I don't know what happened to third base. It's just disintegrated in front of our eyes. Noelvi Marte is at least a fun name here. I will say the Statcast batted ball numbers are not great. They're middle of the pack if we're going to call what they are, and maybe even under that in different areas. I did get the strikeouts under control last year, which was really nice to see. It was kind of at least just the raw numbers kind of thing that you were looking at was, can he get the strikeouts down? That was nice to see. But he plays in Cincinnati, so the Statcast numbers don't have to be that good. I really do like Noelvi Marte. And as you mentioned, there's not a ton of upside at the position, especially that we're going to talk about that we haven't already discussed in previous podcasts. There's not even a late prospect that we're like, oh, well, he could get a possible call up, and then maybe that would be interesting. There's nothing interesting at third base. Gray, it's terrible. Number 10 is Jordan Westberg. We talked about him on second baseman. That ends that tier. Moving on to number 11, Matt Chapman. Last year, he had 21 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 76-61. He hit 231, 340, and 430. You have him projected for 22 home runs, 8 stolen bases, 72, 78, and 237. This feels like what Matt Chapman does, Gray. He gives us hope in one season and then just yanks it out from under us. And the next one, it just this is Matt Chapman, and this is why I don't own him ever.
Yeah, it's also like it's like 21, 10, 240 is decent. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's like if that's the projections, that's what he does. That's fine. It's not ideal, like I said, but it's fine. But then if you just take the downside on those and you're like, well, what if he goes 17, 7, 230? Then you're like, and you're staggering. You start staggering around. You're like, oh man, that's not good at all. And that's like one bad 2-week stretch. The difference between like him being good for like a good stretch in June versus not. I mean, it's not a big difference. So he's like really at the precipice of being like kind of terrible, but still manages to be decent enough that you're like, okay, I mean, I guess I can kind of see it. And the fact that he is the 11th best third baseman according to my rankings, I mean, oh my God, this is awful. This is terrible, man. This is like so pathetic. It's also like it's getting to the point too where like he's ADP right now is 167. So if he's at 167 and you're there and you're like, okay, so one bad 2-week stretch of Matt Chapman and he's like basically unrosterable. And if I wait, 4 rounds, I'll just take a random, I'll take a try for like Murakami or something. Like, why am I risking it on Matt Chapman when I could just wait 50 picks and do like, a random like Caleb Durbin or something? So it's like, I mean, it's hard. We've already gotten to the point where it's like now difficult again for me to like be like excited about these guys. I'm not. I got to be honest. I mean, I have Matt Chapman ranked here, I might have him even ranked somewhere in the vicinity in my overalls, but to be honest, am I actually drafting him here? I don't know, man. I don't necessarily see it. I probably am taking a pass on like this whole tier basically. And yeah, I mean, and once you start passing on these guys and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to pass on Matt Chapman and I'm going to see, maybe I can take I'll take Merrill Kelly as my fourth starter. Once you get to that point and you're like, oh man, I'm just, I basically am now looking at like, taking a flyer on Miguel Vargas or something, it's like, I don't know. So yeah, it's not great. And Matt Chapman he seems to stay relatively valuable as far as like his fantasy stats go, but I don't know. It just feels like he's super close to being kind of useless. So yeah, I'm probably not drafting him.
Yeah, I probably won't either, except maybe in NL only, where unfortunately I think he's like the second best third baseman or fourth best third baseman. Like it's really, really sad in the NL. Like there's Machado, there's Suárez, and that's like the list. There's Marte. Obviously, we talked about Marte. And I guess Riley, who like it's just it's all the bad ones. It's Machado, Suárez, and then all the guys we said like, yeah, we think there's stuff, or maybe there's stuff, or I don't know. It's bad in either league, honestly, when you start looking at it. Number 12, Isaac Paredes. Last year in 102 games, he had 20 home runs, 53. He hit 254, 352, 458. You have projected for 22 home runs, 62 runs, 66 RBIs, and hitting 243. This is basically new Bregman.
Yeah, or sad Bregman.
Yeah,
sad Bregman. I feel kind of similar to Matt Chapman with Isaac Paredes. Like, maybe I can see a little bit more upside with Paredes, simply because I think the power is there and it's a good park for him. But on the other hand, like Matt Chapman at least is chucking in like 10 steals. More than likely, where Paredes has 0 steals. So it's really just a power. It's a power play with possibly, a 250 average. And also, I should mention too that like if we get to spring training and Paredes really doesn't have a job, I could potentially be dropping him in my rankings. It's a little concerning that the Astros already said that like Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes are both going to camp together. And the rumors about one of them being traded is false. It's concerning because that means they see them both playing the same position, and only one guy can do that. So I don't know. Paredes. I mean, he might be on the outside looking in on a job. I don't know. Like I would see if Yordan Alvarez can play the outfield again. And by play the outfield, I put that in air quotes. I don't really mean play the outfield. I mean stand out there somewhere. If Alvarez can stand out there and Walker and Paredes can be in the lineup at the same time, maybe. I mean, that would be good. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, Paredes might be on the outside looking in for a starting job. So it's kind of tentative right now where I have him ranked.
Yeah, I also feel like the Altuve back to the outfield is a definite possibility. Just if we're moving people around, they can move Altuve back to the outfield, put Paredes at second, and go about it that way. That would probably be better fielding at least than Yordan. And we all know Yordan has his own injury history. So there's that possibility. Maybe Zach Cole doesn't quite make it out of camp, or they could just sit Jake Myers on the bench. And I think they can go about it that way. Carlos Correa is not going to be healthy for the full season either. So there's also that. I think there's room for Paredes there, but I'm with you that it's not great that they're saying he doesn't really really have a full-time job at this point because I do. He's one of the few people at third base that I like once you get past that top group because I feel like there is at least a little upside and a profile that shouldn't hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of being hurt, I mean, next up is Royce Lewis at 13. 106 games last year, which is pretty good for him. 13 home runs, 12 stolen bases, 36, 52. He hit 237, 283.
Which is not good for him.
It's not. You have a projection for 15, 10, 247, Gray. And since, you mentioned it wasn't really the Royce Lewis that we've seen, like he could play 5 games, and in those 5 games, he hit 400 with 3 home runs and 2 stolen bases. That wasn't really what we saw last season, and it really wasn't what we saw the season before either. Like, are the injuries starting to pile up here, Gray? What are your thoughts on Royce Lewis? What is the dream season, if he does stay healthy, even look like at this point?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like for the longest time, it did seem like Royce Lewis was a similar situation as like Byron Buxton, whereas if he stayed on the field, you'd at least get good stats. It was just a struggle to stay on the field. Now with Royce Lewis, like I don't know what's good. What's good, bro? I don't know. I don't know what's good for him. I mean, I am down for a 15-10 season, which is kind of awful. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's got more power and more speed still. What I fear is the case is like he has ramped down on everything in order to stay healthy, but by ramping down on everything, he's become, no longer exciting because, he's now tamped down on his excitement in order to stay on the field. So I don't know, man. And there's always a case where like what we mentioned about earlier with Austin Riley, whereas like, he's finally healthy and he's healthy to the point where, Royce Lewis, this is where he's not only is he healthy, but he's at 100% and he's playing at 100% and he's, going all out. But right now, I don't know. I've always sort of had I've had the same sort of feeling as Royce Lewis as I've had for almost his whole career, where I just don't see it. I don't see the upside. I mentioned, like you talked about my projections. I just re-mentioned them. I mean, 15 homers and 10 steals is kind of awful. So I'm not drafting him. At this point, we're at we're after 200 overall, I think, in my rankings. Like this is bad. Okay. This is not good. And I don't see me drafting these guys necessarily. And I don't really see, I guess it depends. Like it always depends on the price, right? So if Royce Lewis is there at 200 and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've never had him before. Maybe I'll take a flyer. Sure. Like, and it's easier to do that too in like a 12-team mixed league, because it's like, yeah, in a 12-team mixed league, who cares? It's like if you, this is also at this point in a 12-team mixed league, you're talking about a corner man probably. So if it's like, yeah, you take a flyer, if it doesn't work out, like, by end of April, you have, moved on to a guy off of waivers. But yeah, there's no one really here that are, incredibly exciting. I mean, it's like the next tier of players are just big question marks, and they end. The next tier ends the 12-team mixed league guys. They're, we're at around 200 overall, and it's like from 200 to 275 is probably in the next tier. So yeah, these are kind of flyers at this point. And Royce Lewis, and he's a flyer for a shallower league. I really wouldn't go near Royce Lewis in a deeper league though, because in a deeper league, if you don't have waivers or you have just a lot fewer guys to choose from waivers, a guy like Royce Lewis can really kill your team, because if you can't replace him, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's really tough, especially at that position, to find something else if he does go down. And history says he's going to go down for a pretty decent chunk of the season. I want to believe that the upside is still there, but all the data says otherwise, Gray. And again, it could be injuries, it could just be he was never really healthy, and that's why all the numbers kind of look this way. But like, there seems to be a clear line from 23 and then versus the next two lines, like for everything. Like, his bat speed is down, the fast swing rate is down, hard hits down, average exit velocity is down, the sprint speed is down a massive amount, Gray. Like, he went from a top 150, give or take, sprint speed guy, maybe even a little bit faster, to like 400th now. Like, that is a drastic drop in his sprint speed. And that's all base running. That's not just stolen bases. So it's not that, he's not running, he's not stealing bases, so therefore he's not getting up to that speed. Like, he's just lost a bit on it. And I just don't know that the upside that we all thought is there anymore. And I'm with you. I don't think I'm really going to be rostering him unless he does get past 200. I don't really see that very often, because there's still people in just about every draft that believe the upside's there. But it's really strictly just I want to see if it happens this year type of play.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, we are starting a new tier. Number 14 is Caleb Durbin. We talked about him on the Second Base Podcast. Number 15, Addison Barger. Last year in 135 games, 21 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 61-74. He hit 243, 301, 454. You are projected for 23 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 62, 71, and 261. He is the guy in your golf group that either hits it 300 plus off the tee, or he hosel shanks it 30 yards in front of you. Just absolutely mashes the ball when he does make contact.
Totally. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I know that's the comp you were thinking about in your head too, Gray. So I just went ahead and said it for you.
Yeah. No, I mentioned this already, but I really liked him a lot before they went out and got Okamoto. I still like him more though than, say, Matt Shaw, who I loved Matt Shaw until they went out and got Bregman. Matt Shaw, I feel like, is completely just, his value has been ruined unless he gets traded or someone gets injured. Someone, not him. But Barger still, I think Barger still has a little bit of area to play. Like, he still has right field where he was playing in the postseason. I'm a little bit concerned though, because they do have, like, they got Nathan Lukes, they got Davis Schneider, Miles Straw. Like, they have guys who could potentially take some at bats away from Barger. Whereas, like, and at third base with Okamoto now, like, he's going to be the everyday third baseman. So it's not like Barger can move to third base. At least I doubt it, unless, something happens something that happens that I don't foresee with Okamoto, that is. But yeah, so I still like Barger a ton though. Like, you, I think, alluded to how he hits the ball hard. I think that's what your analogy was saying.
Yes.
And he does. He hits the ball really hard, and he hustle shanks it. I don't know what that means. But no, I mean, he definitely struggles. Like, I could see him struggling against lefties. He probably won't face that many, which is fine. But he hits righties hard. And, he's also, like, I mean, his strikeout rate, 24%. I mean, it's not bad considering he does swing really hard. Anyone who watched the playoffs could saw that. So I could see, like, Barger for me feels like he's got a little bit of upside on his stats. And if he just repeats what he did last year, while not being incredibly great, last year, 21 homers, 4 steals, 243. If he just repeats that, that's kind of like where he's going in drafts, which is, roughly around like, I think 200 overall. So where he's going in drafts, if he repeats what he did last year, that's fine. And I think there's upside from it. So I like that. I mean, I like the fact that there's upside, and even if you get exactly the same season, it's still a decent enough season for his draft price.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And again, he's one of the few guys down here who still has some upside. We've discussed about the limited upside at the position. I feel like he does have some upside, but he does feel like a pretty strict platoon bat. He is absolutely awful versus lefties. And as you mentioned, the Jays have some options in the outfield, particularly that they could swap in and just kind of play that split game. But that's fine because he's terrible versus lefties. You really don't want him just dragging down his average anyways. So perfectly fine with that one, especially if you've missed out on the guys in front of him to this point. Number 16, Munetaka Murakami. I think I got that right, but we'll just hope that was right for now, Gray. Last year in the NPB, he had 56 games where he hit 22 home runs, 4 stolen bases, hit 273, 379, and 663. Yeah, I'm projected for 26 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 54, 62, and a 219 average. Legit power here, Gray. Some strikeout issues in the last few years, and we'll take a walk, and that's about as much as I know here.
Yeah, I watched 3 at bats. I know everything there is to know. I watched a good 30 seconds of him batting.
The White Sox wanted him. How bad could it be?
Right, exactly. I think Murakami. His numbers to me. There's a chance. So I'll give you the best case scenario. The best case scenario is major league pitchers don't really know how to attack him, throw him a bunch of strikes, and he has a great first half of the season. I'm thinking like what Colson Montgomery did in the second half of last year, whereas like a guy with strikeout problems is not attacked the correct way and ends up beating a bunch of pitchers. That could happen. I think that's the best case scenario, but it could happen. I think his stats, I think to me and probably to everyone who looks at his stats and knows what they're talking about, you look at his stats and it's like he looks like a 27 plus homer guy who's going to hit, potentially 205. That's kind of what it looks like. He looks like a guy who is going to struggle on a batting average and hit for a terrible average, but hit a bunch of homers. Potential power bat with no average. But that's what we thought Colson Montgomery was going to be when he got promoted last year, and he got promoted and ended up killing the entire league with power and hit for a good enough average. So we'll see. Third base is such a mess. I'm at this point, like Murakami looks good to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's some upside here. He's only 26 years old. There's, like I said, there is legitimate power here. And earlier in his career, he did hit for a good average and didn't have strikeout issues. It does look, just perusing the numbers, I don't have any, scouting information really. I haven't watched him more than a handful of at-bats, like you said, Gray. But just looking at the numbers, it feels like 2-3 years ago, he made a concerted effort to increase his launch angle. The fly balls went up, the strikeouts went up. So there's a non-zero chance that he comes over and they're like, look, we don't need you to try and hit everything out of the park. 25 home runs and 280 is more useful for us than 32, 240. Maybe that happens. I tend to doubt that, but you never know. There is some upside here. I will say for an OBP league, I do like him quite a bit more because he does take walks. That's something we've seen translate pretty directly is the walk rate. So even if strikeouts are bad and the average kind of tanks, I do think the on base will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17 is Marcelo Mayer. Number 18, Jose Caballero. And number 19 is Alec Baum. We have talked about them already on different podcasts. Number 20 is Kazuma Okamoto. Last year in 69 games, had 15 home runs, a stolen base. He hit 327, 416, 598. You have him projected for 24 home runs and a 256 average. He is a little bit older than Murakami, but kind of a similar power bat profile, just does not strike out at the same level.
Yeah, I think in my rankings, I compared I compared Okamoto to Ryan O'Hearn. That's who his numbers look like to me. 20 homers, good strikeout rate. Last year in Tokyo, it was a 11.3% strikeout rate. So 20 homers, 260 average ish, more or less. It's fine. I think he's probably better real world than he is for fantasy. I don't, for real world, like 20 to 24 homers, 255 to 265 average is, solid with no speed. For fantasy, it's okay. I mean, best case scenario is you get 25 homers and 265, and people are like, what's the difference between Okamoto and Bregman? Sounds like the same thing, which is, it's fair point. Mr. Man who I just made up in my head. or the downside is, he hit, he doesn't hit for as much power. He's a 17 homer, 250 hitter, and it really is Ryan O'Hearn. And you're like, oh man, Ryan O'Hearn's not good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okamoto is, for a big picture here, we're at the breaking point for 12-team mixed league. So that ends the 12-team mixed league, guys. So that means we're roughly around 275 overall. So at that point in a draft, if Okamoto's there, I'm fine with the flyer. I would take it. I don't, I don't have a ton of faith that. I mean, there is some downside where he becomes completely unusable and not worthwhile for a 12-team mixed league. But I don't mind the flyer, and he's going as far as ADP goes in NFBC. At least he's going, roughly around 300 overall. So he's going a little bit later but that's 15-team mixed league, and that's also has there's some. Worked into that ADP where he was, before he signed with the Jays. So it was a little bit more unknown what his role would be. But now that we know, I mean, he's going to be an everyday starter for the Jays as far as we know. And he looks like he could be, maybe Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I mean, it could be kind of Alex Bregman. It could be Matt Chapman-y. I could definitely see that. I mean, a lot of these guys, and I kind of wanted to mention with Matt Chapman and Royce Lewis, and just kind of forgot. But when we get down to this area, and those two in particular, like they have a 30-day period where they hit really well, and their season looks better. Whereas, as we mentioned with, I think both those guys in particular, that 30-day window doesn't go how it sometimes goes, and they perform really well. Like they can go really bad. And I think this is kind of that situation where if he has that beginning of the season where it looks really good, the numbers could look okay at the end of the season. If they're really, trying to make him struggle out the gate and not really giving him anything to hit, I do wonder how this goes. And that goes with anybody who comes over from Japan or Korea, really. But I do like Murakami and Okamoto, just because at the position they do have upside, they have playing time, and if nothing else, they have legitimate power that could translate into some fantasy goodness here. Up next is the start of a new tier, number 21, Max Muncy. Last year in 100 games, had 19 runs, 4 stolen bases, 48, 67. He hit 243, 376, and 470. You have him projected for 17 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 44, 52, and a 229 average. He actually had a career best hard hit rate and average exit velocity, also strikeout rate and walk rate. So the numbers actually were pretty good. Max Muncy has just become, another guy kind of you just can't count on to stay healthy, unfortunately. And that really kills his fantasy value.
Yeah, no, he's like the Tyler Glass now of third baseman. he's good for 100 games, 80 to 100 games maybe. You give him that, and yeah, I mean he looks fine for those. I wouldn't, I projected him for 309 at bats. Let me see. It looks like I'm like in the middle of the road, I guess. There's some Steamer is always lower. Steamer's lower. Even though Steamer doesn't project for at bats. That's a Fangraph Steamer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's fine for if you're in a league with waivers, you draft Max Muncy and get a guy off of waivers for when Muncy goes down. Or the other side of the equation, I guess, is if you're in a draft and hold, you take Max Muncy and back him up with someone who will get at bats who may not be as good or a prospect maybe. But if you have a prospect that we don't know about, let us know, because third base is pretty bad. if there's someone who's hiding out later on that I haven't seen, I'd love to know about them, because this is bad news. So yeah, I mean, Max Muncy we're also at, like I said, we're now after 300 overall in the rankings. For me, at least for my rankings, his ADP is a little bit before that, but that's also, there's wide ranges of he goes anywhere from 200 to 340 overall. So there's huge ranges there. But yeah, I mean, everyone knows who Max Muncy is at this point. If assuming he's made his March trip to Warby Parker and he's got his glasses, he's good to go.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to plan for him missing some time, as you mentioned. But as he's not a bad one to fall back on. If you take him after you've taken Royce Lewis, maybe you get a full-ish season out of the two, or maybe they miss the exact same months and you're just out third baseman.
Yeah, you have to somehow work out a plan with Muncy and Royce Lewis where it's okay, imagine you're handing off a baton in a race. When he goes down, that's when you get up, and that's
what I need you back from the IL.
When he gets up, you go down. We need to work this out, because if you're both down at the same time, it doesn't work, guys.
Yeah, that's a fair call there, Gray. Yeah, and there's not really anybody pushing him. As good as the Dodgers are, there's not really a third baseman that they need to get playing time. So everything should be fine as long as he's healthy there. Moving on, number 22 was Carlos Correa. Number 23, Ernie Clement. 24, Colt Keith. 25, Willie Castro. We have talked about them on different podcasts. Number 26 is Josh Jung. Last year had 14 home runs, 4 stolen bases, 53, 61. He hit 251, 294, and 390. You have him projected for 15 home runs, 5 stolen bases, 54, 58, and a 254 average. I'm just wondering when we see that 60 grade power we were told he had, Gray.
Oh, man. Arlington really kills power, huh? Oh, man. Yeah. Josh Jung is kind of like the exact opposite of Max Muncy. It's Josh Jung. It's you want Josh Jung to play less games. You know what? You're not giving me anything for in 90 of these games. Can you just not play them? Can you not play the games where you're bad and only play the games where you're good? Is that possible? Josh Jung's it's kind of sad that Josh Jung's stat line looks very similar to Max Muncy in like 40 more games. I mean, he's just not, I don't know. He's just super boring. He's like I guess you do Josh Jung in like a deeper league for like, a at bats, runs RBIs sort of play. But I wouldn't expect anything else. Like he does have, in theory, at least he does have an everyday job and shouldn't be platooned at all. The problem is, with at bats does not necessarily come more value for Josh Jung. He's just like, he makes okay contact. It's just the ball doesn't fly off his bat. That's for sure.
Yep. And he's in as you mentioned, terrible park, which isn't helping him at all. I did think we were maybe seeing the breakout at the start of the season. He had a good, really solid start to the season. And then it just kind of fell into the mediocrity that has been Josh Jung so far in his major league career. I'm not completely writing him off as somebody who can improve. He's still not overly old. He's 27. He's going to be 28 this season. But from what we've seen so far, it is just a mediocre profile for our game. Up next is the start of a new tier, number 27, Matt Shaw, who, as you mentioned, was a sleeper for you, and then the Bregman signing happened. Last year in 126 games, he had 13 home runs, 17 stolen bases, 57, 44, and hit 226. I will say the Statcast data was not good, to say the least, Gray, if we're just being polite here. And now he doesn't really have anywhere to play, so this is not a good combination of things. I assume he's getting traded at some point, but I really don't know. They may just sit him on the bench and use him as a utility infielder.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I felt like the 13 homers led me down a path of, when I was looking at him for a sleeper, that led me down a path of like his 13 homers last year. Led me down a path where I felt like he could have built on that and got to like, 15, 17 homers. And he has, 30 steal speed. So you could galaxy brain yourself into being like, well, 15, 30, and he makes good contact. It's just doesn't hit the ball that hard, but at least he's making contact. I mean, he might have, the Cubs might have saved me a lot of heartache by burying him. I mean, it's possible. I agree. The Statcast isn't amazing. I don't know. I mean, we're, at this point, we are like probably 350 overall in my rankings, at least. We're really deep. I mean, these guys are like, Matt Shaw specifically is he's a deep league, like NL only, you flyer for an NL only guy, and you hope he gets at bats. You hope either he gets traded or there's an injury in front of him and he gets at bats, because right now, I mean, like you mentioned, he doesn't even have at bats. I mean, there's no real place to play him. I have him currently at 287 at bats, projected wise. And that might be optimistic, but it doesn't really make a ton of logical sense to me that you would have one of your top prospects just sit on the bench indefinitely. I mean, I know, at the end of last year, there was some drama with him where he left the team for a couple of days, but like it just doesn't make sense why you would take one of your top prospects and just bench him indefinitely. Like, trade him. If you're not going to play him, trade him. So I don't know. Everything that's going on right now with Matt Shaw doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So I don't know. Maybe they do trade him. Maybe they have something else in mind. I don't know. But I wouldn't draft him in most leagues. It would have to be a very deep league, and you're just, you're drafting him based on the hope that he somehow finds at bats.
Yeah, it might even be like a draft and hold, or a deep situation where you you drafted Bregman, and you're just like, hey, I drafted Bregman. If anything happens to him, I'll have his backup, and we'll be ready. Or maybe he gets traded, and then I'll have a player. But it's really doesn't look good in regards to a playing time situation for him. And I will say at the end of the last season, he was starting to come around. He hit in the second half. He had 258. He had 11 home runs and 6 stolen bases. Like, there was reason to think that he was kind of beginning to get it at the major league level. Bregman signing, everything else in the Cub world, they just don't have space for him at this point. So he is on the weak side of a platoon at best right now. Maybe Ballesteros struggles out of the gate and he can kind of take DH. Michael Busch went through more than one just cold slump last year, so there's some possibility there. But those are still limited possibilities of playing time, not necessarily a clear-cut avenue to them. Number 28 is Brooks Lee. Number 29, Brett Beatty. 30, Zach McKinstry. 31, Connor Norby. 32, Luis Rengifo. 33, Jonathan India. 34, Josh H. Smith. Of that group, the only one we haven't talked about yet is Connor Norby Gray. Did you want to say anything about him? Last year, he had 8 home runs, 8 stolen bases, hit 251.
Yeah, I mean, what comes to mind is the quote of if from Moneyball, the Billy Bean quote, the movie that is. I don't know if he really said it in real life, but if Connor Norby is a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good? I don't know. It's like it doesn't like he played in more than half of a season last year and had 8 homers and hit 251. That's not good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just a fluky, is kind of like more or less his rookie year and the first time he really had everyday playing time. So maybe he was just trying to find his sea legs. I don't know, but not great. I mean, it's like you project that out and it's not really stats you want from your third baseman. I mean, it looks basically like Josh Jung without any track record, which is like, So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's like basically if you've punted your NL only third base spot or hopefully utility, okay? You punted your utility spot and you're like, Connor Norby hit the ball hard, right? All right, let's go.
Yeah, I can do like 11 to 45 in an NL only as my last active player. There's worse things, honestly. But at least he has a job in theory. There's plenty of NL only players who get rostered that don't have jobs, so you could do worse. Rounding out the tier, Gray, we have Sung Mung Song in the KBO last year. He had 26 home runs, 25 stolen bases, 103 runs, 90 RBIs. He hit 315, 387, and 530. You have him projected for 12 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 41, 43, and 244. Recently, Gray, I'm trying to learn Korean, and I've realized that my mouth does not make the sounds that it needs to make to speak Korean properly. It's
really?
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of like OU, like weird like mixes of that sound, and I just my mouth does not do it.
Soju.
That one I can do. Like the word for water is like MUL. It's like mul, but it's like a really weird U sound in the middle. And I've been trying for like 2 weeks to pronounce water in Korean, and I cannot do it. So this is gonna be a fun experiment to see how this learning of Korean goes.
You don't need to learn water if you know soju.
That's true. Just soju tea or something. Who needs water? That's not important.
Bulgogi. How about bulgogi or bibimbap? Bibimbap. Look at kimchi. I speak Tabuki. I speak Korean very well.
You got the menus. You got the menu down, Greg.
If I'm in a restaurant, I can speak Korean extremely.
As long as you don't have to ask for water. Hopefully they just bring it out, right off the bat. You don't have to ask for it.
Yeah.
Can Sung Moon Song make a
but
better translation than I do?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think possible. I mean, he's not. I mean, he does have speed, right? And it's like you would think speed would translate pretty easily. I mean, how much could, like if he's going from Korea to the US and you got the pitch clock, I mean, he should be able to steal some bags, I would think. I don't know if the power is going to translate or the average necessarily, because like, I mean, he doesn't hit the ball very hard. Like he's kind of he's kind of like a dinky hitter when it comes to contact. So I don't know. I like if he can, I guess if he can get like a 340 BABIP, maybe he can push a 260 average and have speed. And I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's actually, I'm kind of interested in seeing how he does, because Korean hitters don't usually translate very well. So it would be nice to see bulgogi. What if Korean word for water was Sung Moon Song? Is that possible? Actually, Sung Moon Song was, I saw that Neil Diamond movie. It wasn't bad. I kind of liked it. I think he's NL only, but yeah, maybe. I mean, stranger things have happened with guys coming over who have had, like, Ha-Sung Kim had speed, and he actually did okay for the Padres for a few years.
Yeah, he did, and still fairly interesting. Hee-Sung Kim was not very interesting last year because they didn't let him play at all. That makes it very uninteresting.
Yeah, when he did play though, he actually he did okay when he did play, but they did not seem. It was weird because they went out of their way to sign him, the Dodgers, that is, and then they never played him, which I don't know. I mean, I guess they have that much money. Who cares?
Just throw it away. Make sure somebody else doesn't get them, I guess. I don't know. You're not going to sign another Ohtani, so what does it matter? But yeah, I mean, he should, in theory, have a job probably at the bottom of the order to begin with, and I think he could probably move up. The Padres lineup is very good 1 through 3, and then very bad the rest of the way out. So there's room to move up if he can show he can hit at the Major League Baseball level, but that's to be seen. As you mentioned, KBO does not traditionally translate that well to the Major League Baseball, and even the Japanese players usually take a year or two to really kind of get their grasp of the U.S. way, I guess, or the Major League Baseball way.
The Padres also gave him 4 years. Do the Padres know they can give out 1-year contracts?
No, they don't. That's not how they work, Gray. They're building within.
He actually got it. I mean, he got a pretty team favorable deal if he works out. I mean, he's only getting $15 million for 4 years, so it's actually not so bad. But I'm sure the Padres will extend his contract for another 12 years if he does well.
After a good 2 weeks, he'll definitely get a 5-year extension. Last one we're going to talk about here, Gray, is Mark Vientos. Last year in 121 games, 17 home runs, a stolen base, 44, 61. He hit 233, 289, and 413. You have projected for 14 home runs, a stolen base, 33, 34, and 254. This is a guy that we unfortunately did like last year, and it did not go our way. What are your thoughts here on Mark Vientos?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting, who's he getting? He's got now he's got Jorge Polanco,
Bo Bichette,
and Bo Bichette. I mean, he's got no angle. Yeah, he's got Beatty. It's basically Vientos and Beatty in a platoon, and Beatty has at least the good fortune of being a lefty, so he's going to face all the righties. So that means Vientos only faces lefties. It's terrible. I mean, it's awful. It's a shame too, because I still kind of like Vientos. I think on a, you put Vientos on like the Pirates, and it's like you give Vientos 500 at bats, and I don't know. I mean, I'm interested enough. I'd probably be as interested in him as like like the Matt Chapman area of the rankings. So yeah, I mean maybe Isaac Paredes or Mark Vientos if Mark Vientos had 500 bats. I mean that's a fair either or, but right now Vientos may not have 200 at bats, so we'll see. I don't know. He's got no place to play, unfortunately. If someone gets injured and he moves into the lineup, then he becomes interesting. But right now he's just a flyer for NL only.
Yeah, the Reds loved collecting corner infielders, Gray. The Mets love collecting middle infielders that are now corner infielders because they're too old. That's their favorite thing to do.
The Mets love collecting former prospects that just are prospects that never amount to anything. They're just like, oh yeah, Brett Baty's going to be incredible, right? What? Ronnie Mauricio, yeah, man. Oh, Mark Vientos. How about Jared Kelenic? You like him? He's going to be good. I promise you, he'll be good.
Yeah, cannot recall the last. I guess Pete Alonso.
That's it.
That was the only hitter I can think of from the Mets system that has worked out in the last 10 years, give or take.
It's been a while.
It's pretty ridiculous. So number 37 was Miguel Vargas. That wraps up this tier, Gray. There's still one more tier that you had in your show or in your article that people can go read. Anybody that you wanted to highlight from this group of Nolan Arenado, Jared Triolo, Ryan McMahon, Miguel Andujar, Brady House, and Brian Hayes, Otto Kemp, and Nolan Gorman. By the way, can you believe Brian Hayes? Like, Cincinnati loves corner infielders so much. They signed the definition of the last corner infield of the market. Like, every year, Brian Hayes is essentially what you said earlier, like the only league version of I forgot about corner infield. Who can I take? And that's what Brian Hayes is. And the Reds, you have 7 of them, just decided to go ahead and get that out of the way and take him.
You're in your fantasy draft, and you're like, oh well, at least I got third base wrapped up, and then suddenly you realize there was actually a fly covering the spot where your third base was supposed to be. And you're like, wait, it's empty? I thought there was something there. Oh, no. Wait, where's the fly going? I'll play the fly at third base over Brian Hayes. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, man. I guess Brady House? It's terrible. It's terrible. If you've waited this long for a third base, man, it's a wrap, bro. Your team's awful. You should have drafted a guy earlier. Like that's on you, man. And you know what? I can't get you out of this. I can't get you out of this pickle you got yourself into. All right. I guess, I don't know, if you're this late and those names have presented themselves, I guess Brady House at least has some upside. And in theory, he's supposed to have an everyday job. At one point, people did think he had power and speed. He's really only played a half a season. He didn't do anything. He didn't do much in that half season when he played, but he has only played 73 games in the major leagues. So, yeah, I mean, maybe Brady House, I don't even know if it's a finally breaks out. Maybe he breaks out. It's, it wouldn't be the most inconceivable thing, I guess. Brian Hayes being valuable, that would be inconceivable. That would be like, wow, never would have saw that coming.
No, I don't think anybody would. I guess some people may think Nolan Arenado, just name wise, doesn't belong here. He does. He absolutely does. The batted ball is so bad. Home run, the fly ball is gone. The only thing I could think is maybe, like fellow old people do, maybe the move to Arizona helps him a little bit. Maybe, those joints of his aren't aren't so bad as they were in St. Louis. But I highly doubt that. It's been a great, probably future Hall of Fame career for Arenado. But no, don't want him on my team anymore. Do you think he gets in, Gray, or is the Colorado thing going to hold over him?
Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he gets in. I think so. I mean, I'm also like a.
You do love just shoving everybody in.
I'm a big Hall guy, but I think Nolan Arenado gets in. Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't, but I don't know. I mean, if he like Manny Machado before him, right? I think Nolan Arenado's probably. I mean, I guess Arenado's borderline. Yeah, it's close.
I mean, raw numbers. It's Arenado, but. Again, the Colorado thing always factors into the
right. But also, like, I mean, Arenado is he's like in his second year of he should have retired already. Where Machado is still putting up numbers. So I mean, Machado in theory should pass him by a mile when it's all said and done. And he's already ahead of him in WAR. According to Fangraphs, at least. I don't know why we can't get on the same page with WAR. Why does there need to be two separate wars? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know why we can't all just be like, hey man, let's just use this WAR. Why do we have to have two of them? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume there's something in the calculation that each other didn't like, and that's what happens. Same thing with hard hit. I don't know why Statcast couldn't come up with a different term, or why Fangraphs decides that they need to make their hard hit a calculation rather than just a straight number. These are random things that we're not really sure about what happens. There's going to be some interesting names at third base for the Hall of Fame, Gray, because I know obviously Adrian Beltre was kind of mentioned in recent, but like Chris Bryant's going to be in there. Anthony Rendon's going to be in there, and the way they wrapped up their careers.
Whoa! Chris Bryant's not a Hall of Famer. I know you're a Cubs fan, but I'm sorry. Chris Bryant's not a Hall of Famer, my friend. He's not in any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Nolan Arenado, according to Baseball Reference, at least, is a borderline right now Hall of Famer, and according to their Hall of Fame monitor, he's 122, and a likely Hall of Famer is 100. So according to Baseball Reference, he is a Hall of Famer. I don't know I don't know how people actually, vote. Who knows on that? But Chris Bryant, come on, man. He's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm not even going to bother looking up Chris Bryant's stats. I mean, come on, man.
He has a better offensive WAR than Manny Machado at the current moment. That's pretty much the other reason I threw him in there, was just to point out that he has a better offensive WAR than Manny Machado at the current moment. And crazy enough, so does Anthony Rendon, as does Nolan Arenado. So it's just a random numbers thing I wanted to sneak in for my boy Chris Bryant, because I don't know if it would have gone the same if he had stayed in the Cubs, but it was really sad to watch his career go that way, unfortunately. And he's not even on this list anymore as a third baseman, Gray.
No.
Anyways, if you have any other questions, Cubs, Hall of Fame, third base, draft related, whatever you want to talk about, you can always find us on X. I am at RazBeaton. Gray is at Razzball. You can find us on youtube.com/Razzball Fantasy, Razzball.com in the comments section. And we'll be back next week to start or I guess we're just going to do both the outfield podcasts next week, Gray. So that'll be a fun show.
Yeah, for us.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, lates.